Hi everyone, welcome to our Advent devotions. And here we start our first day off. And I want to ask you a question. Have you had some news that it was so hard to believe? And someone breaks that news to you? Ask Zach, short for Zechariah in the Bible. And it is something that was so impossible for him. I want to read to you from Luke chapter 1 verses 18 and 20. It says, Zechariah asked the angel, "How can I be sure of this? I'm an old man and my wife is well along in years." So the excuses were there for sure. He said, my wife is old, I am old, and the chances are so slim for something like this to happen. But then Gabriel says, I am Gabriel and I have come from the presence of God. In other words, I've been sent by God. You can consider it done. If God says it's going to happen, there is nothing too hard for the Lord. But he didn't believe this story. And you know what? He had to be muted. He had to press the mute button, and where he couldn't speak at all until all this took place and everything had come to pass. Because you didn't believe, Zechariah, we had to actually bring you to a place of being muted where you won't be able to speak until all these things happen. And then in Luke chapter 1 verses 57 to 58 it says, when it was time for Elizabeth to have her baby, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown her great mercy, and they shared her great joy. It happened just like the angel had said. And this baby was one special baby. When you read about it in verses 62 to 66, it says, then they made signs to his father to find out what he would like to name the child. He asked for a writing tablet, and to everyone's astonishment he wrote, his name is John. Immediately his mouth was open and his tongue set free, and he began to speak, praising God. All the neighbors were filled with awe, and throughout the hill country of Judea, people were talking about all these things. Everyone who heard this wonderful news about it was asking, what then is this child going to be? For the Lord's hand was with him. In other words, can you imagine a person who's been muted for quite some time, and then suddenly he gets a chance to speak? He's going to be singing the song of Zechariah. It's called the Benedictus. And he sang about the song of God's faithfulness. He sang about the song of God's redemptive purposes. And then he sang a song that light would come out of the darkness of this world. And you know what? The amazing thing is, maybe you and I should be muted this season. You know why? Because we must stop doing and then start imagining the plans that God has. When you see the Advent season full of hustle and bustle, it's so busy that we fail to envision what Christ's coming is all about. And maybe you and we need to be muted this season, muted to the fact that we can hopefully focus on the Advent and on the Christmas event that is so wonderful to ponder about. Just like Mary, she pondered these things in her heart. Maybe ponder them this Christmas and this Advent season. So how can you slow down today and pay attention to the meaning of Advent? That's the question I want to leave with you today. How can you slow down and pay attention to the question of Advent and the meaning of Advent, and focus on this Advent season? Shall we do that right now? Let us ponder all about this wonderful Advent season. God bless you.